Hey guys, I'm Nathan from Arms and Armor. Today I want to show you a custom training sword that I made a couple weeks ago to take to the School of the Renaissance Soldier, which was the Western Martial Arts workshop off-year event. Took place in Kenosha, Wisconsin this past weekend. Or Racine, I can't tell them apart. They're right next to each other. So Western Martial Arts Workshop, WMAW, is an event that happens every other year at this super awesome theological seminary in Wisconsin. It's put on by the Chicago Swordplay Guild. It's usually a 4-day event, but every other year they have a smaller event that is themed. So this year it was battlefield arts of the 16th century. And I needed an arming sword for it, and it turned out pretty cool. So I thought I'd show you guys the process. So this blade, you can see here, is ground to be a single edge trainer. Right? So it's curved on the back, narrowing out to the point. It's got good flex on it, although it's relatively stiff as a cutting sword. Could make it more flexible if you wanted. The hilt here, I've taken from our Caliano sword and altered it. I'll give you a link to that piece. So this pommel, it's called a catshead pommel, and it is iconically Venetian. Right? So these parts here look kind of like cat ears, right? A lot of Northern Italian swords, especially from Venice, had this style of pommel really for a couple hundred years. This S-guard here actually protects the hand quite well, right? So you can see it covers the back of my arm here. And when binding, right, if I cut over someone's sword and then pull to thrust, it really gathers up their blade nicely, keeps it so you can cut around. This S-guard was also classic 16th century style and would be appropriate for anything from a Italian condottieri to German Landsknecht, any kind of military side sword in that period. Now, the grip here is kind of interesting. I want to talk you through the process. So when I first was making this sword, right, I wanted the pommel to be something that could fit in my hand that would give me leverage. I didn't want to just hold it like this. I want to hold it like this because that gives all kinds of more interesting control for the sword. But I kept feeling like I wanted to put my finger up over the guard. Like my hand kept creeping up, which is pretty dangerous with this kind of a guard without a finger ring, right? It's a great way to get your finger broken or cut off. So I added these risers to the grip, which are totally historical. They happened on all kinds of swords. These ones are just little pieces of leather glued onto the wooden grip with then another piece of leather shrunk on them with beeswax. And what these do, right, is give your hand a place to be. Right? So you can see when I'm holding this here that my thumb and finger push against this riser, which gives me a kind of grounding on the sword that's similar to putting my hand over the top of the guard, but it keeps my hand back so it's safe. So you can see here that this kind of position is encouraged by these risers. So it's not something that we talk about very often, but risers on a grip aren't just decorative, they're often functional, right? They increase your ability to understand where your hand is on the sword, and they give you some additional grip on there. And if they're spaced right, you can see that this one is between these two fingers. My thumb can go there. It feels super good. So 16th century arming sword in the Venetian style. If anyone wants something like this, they should just drop us an email and we'll give you a quote. Thanks very much. Take care.